The air is thick with the sound of war drums, echoing across the valley as the sun dips below the horizon. Thousands of warriors, adorned in feathered headdresses and jaguar skins, stand ready, their obsidian-tipped weapons glinting in the fading light. This is not just a battlefield, it is a stage where empires rise and fall, where the fate of an entire civilization hangs in the balance. Welcome to the world of the Aztecs, a people whose battles were not merely clashes of steel and stone but epic tales of strategy, sacrifice, and survival. Today, we journey through 25 of these pivotal conflicts that shaped the ancient world and left an indelible mark on history. From the legendary founding of Tenochtitlan to the dramatic fall of an empire, each battle reveals the ingenuity, ambition, and resilience of the Aztec civilization. But these stories are more than just history, they are mysteries waiting to be unraveled. How did a small group of nomads transform into one of the most powerful empires in the Americas? What secrets lie buried beneath the ruins of their great cities? And what can we learn from their triumphs and tragedies? Stay with us as we uncover the untold stories of the Aztec warriors, their gods, and the battles that defined their world. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the legacy of the Aztecs, but also see how their echoes still resonate in the world today. Let's begin. Now, let's step back in time to the year 1325, to the very beginning of the Aztec story, a tale of divine prophecy, fierce determination, and the birth of an empire. This is the story of the founding of Tenochtitlan, the legendary city that would become the heart of the Aztec world. According to myth, the Aztecs, then a wandering tribe, were guided by their patron god, Huitzilopochtli, the god of war and the sun. He promised them a sign, a sacred vision of an eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a snake. This symbol would mark the place where they were destined to build their great city. After years of hardship and searching, they finally found this divine omen on a small island in the middle of Lake Texcoco. But this was no empty land. The island was already under the control of rival tribes, and the Aztecs had to fight for their promised home. The battle that followed was as much a test of faith as it was of strength. Armed with little more than courage and the belief in their god's guidance, the Aztecs clashed with their enemies. Huitzilopochtli's presence loomed large over the battlefield, inspiring the warriors to fight with unmatched ferocity. The victory was hard-won, but it marked the beginning of something extraordinary. On that island, the Aztecs began to build Tenochtitlan, a city that would grow into one of the most magnificent capitals of the ancient world. This battle wasn't just about land, it was about destiny. It set the stage for the rise of the Aztec Empire, a civilization that would dominate Mesoamerica for centuries. And at its core was the unwavering belief in their gods, a belief that would shape every aspect of Aztec life, from their wars to their rituals. The founding of Tenochtitlan wasn't just a battle, it was the moment the Aztecs stepped onto the world stage, ready to carve their place in history. Now, as we move forward in time, we arrive at a turning point that would forever alter the course of Aztec history, the year 1428. This is the story of the Conquest of Azcapotzalco, a battle that not only secured the Aztecs' place as a dominant force, but also laid the foundation for the mighty Triple Alliance, the coalition that would become the Aztec Empire. At the heart of this conflict was the struggle against the Tepenecs, a powerful rival who had long held sway over the region. The Aztecs, led by their shrewd ruler Xoconochco and their ally Xoconochco, the exiled prince of Texcoco, faced a formidable challenge. But this was more than just a fight for territory. It was a battle for survival and supremacy. Xoconochco, known for his strategic brilliance, understood that defeating the Tepenecs required more than sheer force. He forged a crucial alliance with Xoconochco, whose own grievances against the Tepenecs made him a natural partner. Together, they devised a plan that combined military might with political cunning. The Aztecs and their allies launched a coordinated assault on Azcapotzalco, the Tepanic capital, catching their enemies off guard. The battle was fierce, with both sides fighting relentlessly, but the Aztec superior tactics and unity proved decisive. What set this victory apart was not just the military triumph, but the political aftermath. Huitzilopochtli and Xoconochco didn't stop at conquering Azcapotzalco. They dismantled the Tepanic power structure entirely. This bold move allowed them to redistribute land and resources, strengthening their own positions and solidifying their alliance. The Triple Alliance, comprising Tenochtitlan, Texcoco, and Tlacopan, was born from this victory, marking the beginning of the Aztec Empire as we know it. The conquest of Azcapotzalco wasn't just a battle, it was a masterstroke of strategy and diplomacy. It reshaped the political landscape of the region, elevating the Aztecs from a subordinate people to the rulers of a burgeoning empire. This victory demonstrated the power of alliances and the importance of visionary leadership, lessons that would define the Aztecs' rise to dominance. And as we'll see, this was only the beginning of their ambitious expansion. With the foundation of the Triple Alliance firmly established, the Aztecs turned their attention to expanding their influence further. This brings us to the year 1456 and the prolonged conflict with Chalco, a rival city-state that had long resisted Aztec dominance. The subjugation of Chalco was not just another conquest, it was a testament to the Aztecs' growing mastery of both military strategy and psychological warfare. Chalco, located southeast of Tenochtitlan, was a formidable opponent. Its people had a strong sense of independence and a history of resisting outside control. For years, the Aztecs had attempted to bring Chalco under their rule, but the city-state's resilience and strategic alliances with neighboring powers made it a tough nut to crack. The conflict dragged on for decades, marked by skirmishes, sieges, and failed negotiations. What ultimately tipped the scales in the Aztecs' favor was their use of psychological tactics. Instead of relying solely on brute force, they employed strategies designed to demoralize and intimidate. One such tactic was the display of captured warriors in public ceremonies, often followed by their sacrifice. These acts sent a clear message to Chalco and other potential rivals. Resistance would be met with overwhelming force and dire consequences, but the Aztecs didn't stop there. Once Chalco was subdued, they implemented a system of tribute that ensured their control over the region. Chalco was required to provide goods such as maize, textiles, and other resources to Tenochtitlan. This not only enriched the Aztec capital but also weakened Chalco's ability to mount future rebellions. The tribute system was a cornerstone of Aztec governance, allowing them to maintain control over vast territories without constant military intervention. The subjugation of Chalco also highlighted the Aztecs' ability to adapt and innovate. They understood that conquest was only the first step. Consolidating power required a combination of fear, economic control, and strategic alliances. This victory further solidified their reputation as a rising empire, capable of bending even the most stubborn rivals to their will. As we'll see in the next chapter of Aztec history, their ambitions didn't stop at Chalco. The lessons learned here would be applied again and again as they continued to expand their empire, shaping the ancient world in ways that still resonate today. Now, as the Aztecs continued to expand their empire, they developed a unique and fascinating form of warfare that set them apart from other civilizations of their time. Enter the Flower Wars, a series of ritualistic battles that began around 1454 and continued until the arrival of the Spanish in 1519. Unlike conventional wars fought for territory or resources, the Flower Wars had a very different purpose, capturing prisoners for religious sacrifice. These battles were not random acts of violence but carefully orchestrated events deeply rooted in Aztec culture and religion. The Aztecs believed that the gods required human blood to sustain the universe and prevent its collapse. Capturing prisoners for sacrifice was seen as a sacred duty, and the Flower Wars became a way to fulfill this obligation while also honing their military skills. The Flower Wars were typically fought between the Aztecs and their neighboring city-states, often with mutual agreement. These conflicts were less about conquest and more about demonstrating prowess and securing captives. Warriors from both sides would engage in combat, aiming not to kill but to subdue and capture their opponents. The battles were fierce but controlled, with a focus on skill and strategy rather than outright destruction. For the Aztecs, these wars served multiple purposes. On one hand, they provided a steady supply of sacrificial victims for their religious ceremonies. On the other, they acted as a training ground for young warriors, allowing them to gain experience and prove their worth. The Flower Wars also played a crucial role in diplomacy, as they helped maintain a balance of power among rival city-states. By engaging in these ritualistic battles, the Aztecs could assert their dominance without provoking all-out war. However, the Flower Wars were not without controversy. Some historians argue that they may have weakened the Aztec Empire in the long run. By prioritizing the capture of prisoners over territorial expansion, the Aztecs may have missed opportunities to strengthen their hold on key regions. Additionally, the constant demand for sacrificial victims may have strained relationships with neighboring states, creating resentment that would later be exploited by the Spanish. Despite these complexities, the Flower Wars remain a defining feature of Aztec civilization. They highlight the intricate interplay between religion, warfare, and politics in the ancient world. As we move forward in our exploration of Aztec battles, we'll see how these ritualistic conflicts influenced their military strategies and shaped their legacy. Next, we'll delve into the internal strife that threatened to tear the empire apart, the Tlatelolco Rebellion of 1473. Now, shifting our focus from the ritualistic Flower Wars, we turn to a darker chapter in Aztec history, the Tlatelolco Rebellion of 1473. This internal conflict between Tenochtitlan, the heart of the Aztec Empire, and its sister city, Tlatelolco, reveals the fragility of unity even within a powerful civilization. The roots of the rebellion lay in growing tensions between the two cities. While Tenochtitlan had risen to prominence as the political and religious center of the empire, Tlatelolco had established itself as a thriving commercial hub. Over time, this economic success fueled a sense of independence among Tlatelolco's leaders, who began to resent the dominance of Tenochtitlan. The relationship between the two cities, once one of cooperation, gradually soured into rivalry. The spark that ignited the rebellion came when Tlatelolco's ruler, Mocquehuix, openly defied Axayacatl, the Aztec emperor. Mocquehuix sought to assert Tlatelolco's autonomy, challenging the authority of Tenochtitlan. This act of defiance was seen as a direct threat to the stability of the empire, and Axayacatl responded with swift and brutal force. The ensuing conflict was short but devastating. Axayacatl's forces, seasoned by years of warfare, overwhelmed Tlatelolco's defenses. The battle was marked by intense street fighting, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. In the end, Tlatelolco was decisively defeated, and Mocquehuix was killed, either in battle or by execution, depending on the historical account. The city was brought firmly under Tenochtitlan's control, but the cost was high. The consequences of the Tlatelolco Rebellion were far-reaching. While the rebellion was crushed, it exposed deep divisions within the Aztec Empire. The brutal suppression of Tlatelolco left lasting scars, fostering resentment among its people and weakening the sense of unity that had once bound the empire together. For Axayacatl, the victory solidified his authority, but it also highlighted the challenges of maintaining control over a vast and diverse empire. This internal conflict serves as a reminder that even the mightiest civilizations are not immune to division. The Tlatelolco Rebellion underscores the delicate balance of power within the Aztec Empire and the constant struggle to maintain cohesion in the face of competing interests. As we continue our journey through the battles that shaped the ancient world, we'll see how these internal tensions would play a role in the empire's eventual downfall. Next, we'll explore the Aztec Empire's southern expansion and the challenges they faced in the conquest of Xoconochco. Now, as we move further into the story of the Aztec Empire, we come to a pivotal moment in their southern expansion, the conquest of Xoconochco in 1486. Under the leadership of Huitzilopochtli, the Aztecs pushed their empire's boundaries into new and unfamiliar territories, marking a significant chapter in their quest for dominance. Xoconochco, located in what is now the southern region of Mexico, was a highly strategic target for the Aztecs. Known for its rich resources and thriving trade networks, this area was a vital hub for goods like cacao, feathers, and precious stones. Controlling Xoconochco would not only bolster the Aztec economy, but also strengthen their influence over the southern regions of Mesoamerica. However, the conquest was far from easy. The terrain of Xoconochco presented a formidable challenge. Unlike the highlands of central Mexico, where the Aztecs were accustomed to fighting, the southern lowlands were dense with jungles, rivers, and swamps. Navigating this unfamiliar environment required the Aztec warriors to adapt their tactics, relying heavily on local allies and guides to traverse the difficult landscape. Huitzilopochtli, known for his ambitious and aggressive leadership, led the campaign with determination. His forces faced fierce resistance from the local populations, who were fiercely protective of their independence. The battles were grueling, often fought in close quarters amidst the thick vegetation. Despite these challenges, the Aztecs' superior organization and military discipline eventually prevailed. The fall of Xoconochco was a turning point for the Aztec Empire. With its conquest, they gained access to valuable trade routes and resources, further enriching their capital, Tenochtitlan. The city became a key economic center, funneling goods from the south into the heart of the empire. This victory also demonstrated the Aztecs' ability to project their power far beyond their traditional borders, solidifying their reputation as a dominant force in Mesoamerica. Yet, the conquest of Xoconochco also highlighted the limits of Aztec expansion. The challenges of fighting in unfamiliar terrain and the reliance on local alliances underscored the difficulties of maintaining control over distant territories. While the victory brought wealth and prestige, it also revealed the strains of managing a vast and diverse empire. As we reflect on this chapter of Aztec history, we see how the conquest of Xoconochco was not just a military achievement, but also a testament to the empire's ambition and adaptability. Next, we'll delve into another critical battle that tested the Aztecs' strategic prowess, the Battle of Atlixco in 1491, where they faced off against the Mixtec and Zapotec forces in a struggle for dominance in the Atlixco Valley. Turning our attention to the Atlixco Valley, we arrive at a battle that showcased the Aztecs' strategic brilliance and their ability to adapt to new challenges. The Battle of Atlixco in 1491 was a defining moment in their southern campaigns, pitting them against the combined forces of the Mixtec and Zapotec peoples. This conflict was not just a test of strength, but also a demonstration of how the Aztecs leveraged their understanding of terrain and alliances to secure victory. The Atlixco Valley, with its fertile lands and strategic location, was a highly contested region. For the Aztecs, controlling this area meant securing a vital corridor for trade and military movements, as well as gaining access to valuable agricultural resources. However, the Mixtec and Zapotec forces were determined to defend their territory, setting the stage for a fierce and complex battle. What made this conflict particularly remarkable was the Aztecs' innovative use of the valley's terrain. Unlike the dense jungles of Xoconochco, the Atlixco Valley offered a mix of open plains and rugged hills. The Aztec commanders, recognizing the advantages of high ground, positioned their forces on elevated positions to gain a tactical edge. This allowed them to launch coordinated attacks while minimizing their exposure to enemy counterattacks. Equally important was the role of alliances in this battle. The Aztecs had cultivated relationships with local groups who were discontent with Mixtec and Zapotec rule. These alliances provided the Aztecs with crucial intelligence about enemy movements and allowed them to coordinate their strategies more effectively. By integrating their allies into the battle plan, the Aztecs were able to outmaneuver their opponents and create a united front that proved difficult to overcome. The battle itself was intense and hard-fought. The Mixtec and Zapotec forces, though outnumbered, were skilled warriors who used the terrain to their advantage as well. However, the Aztec superior organization and adaptability ultimately turned the tide. Their ability to quickly adjust their tactics in response to enemy movements, combined with the support of their allies, led to a decisive victory. The fall of Tlatelolco marked another significant expansion of the Aztec Empire, further solidifying their dominance in southern Mesoamerica. It also demonstrated the importance of strategic thinking and collaboration in warfare. The Aztec success in this battle was not just a result of their military prowess, but also their ability to build and maintain alliances, a skill that would continue to shape their empire's growth. As we move forward, the story of the Aztec Empire takes us to another critical chapter, the Siege of Huitzilopochtli in 1494, where the Aztecs faced new challenges in their quest to consolidate control over southern territories. This next battle would test their resilience and strategic ingenuity in ways they had never encountered before. Now, as we shift our focus to the Siege of Huitzilopochtli in 1494, we enter a chapter of Aztec history that highlights their determination to expand and solidify their empire. This prolonged siege, set in what is now modern-day Oaxaca, was a critical moment in the Aztecs' efforts to dominate southern Mesoamerica. Unlike the open battles of the past, this conflict was a grueling test of endurance, strategy, and psychological warfare. Huitzilopochtli, a key city in the region, was a strategic prize for the Aztecs. Its control would not only secure their hold over southern territories, but also provide access to valuable resources and trade routes. However, the city's defenders were well prepared, and its fortified position made it a challenging target. The Aztecs, known for their adaptability, quickly realized that a direct assault would be costly and ineffective. Instead, they opted for a prolonged siege, cutting off supplies and isolating the city to weaken its resolve. One of the most significant challenges the Aztecs faced during this siege was logistics. Maintaining a large army in hostile territory required careful planning and resource management. The Aztecs had to ensure a steady flow of food, water, and weapons to their forces while simultaneously preventing the defenders from receiving reinforcements or supplies. This logistical effort was a testament to their organizational skills and their ability to sustain long-term campaigns far from their capital. But the siege was not just about physical endurance, it was also a battle of minds. The Aztecs employed psychological tactics to demoralize the defenders and break their will to resist. They used intimidation, spreading rumors of their invincibility and the inevitability of their victory. At the same time, they offered incentives to those who surrendered, promising leniency and integration into the Aztec Empire. This combination of fear and persuasion proved effective, gradually eroding the defenders' morale and resolve. The fall of Huitzilopochtli marked a turning point in the Aztecs' southern campaigns. It demonstrated their ability to adapt to different types of warfare, from open battles to prolonged sieges, and showcased their mastery of both military and psychological strategies. By consolidating their control over this region, the Aztecs strengthened their empire and laid the groundwork for further expansion. As we move forward, the story of the Aztec Empire takes us to a rare and humbling moment in their history: the failed attempts to conquer the Tarascan Empire. This next chapter reveals the limits of Aztec power and the challenges they faced when encountering a rival civilization that matched their strength and ingenuity. Now, as we turn our attention to the year 1505, we encounter a rare and humbling chapter in Aztec history: their failed attempts to conquer the Tarascan Empire. This marked one of the few times the Aztecs faced a rival civilization that not only matched their strength but also surpassed them in key areas. The Tarascans, based in what is now modern-day Michoacán, were a formidable opponent, and their resistance revealed the limits of Aztec power. The Aztecs, accustomed to overwhelming their enemies with superior numbers and tactics, found themselves outmatched by the Tarascans' advanced metallurgy. Unlike the Aztecs, who primarily relied on obsidian weapons, the Tarascans had mastered the art of working with copper and bronze. This gave them a significant advantage in both offensive and defensive capabilities. Their metal-tipped weapons were more durable and deadly, while their armor provided better protection against Aztec obsidian blades. This technological gap forced the Aztecs to rethink their strategies, but even their adaptability had its limits. Another critical factor in the Aztecs' failure was the Tarascans' highly organized military structure. The Tarascan Empire had a centralized command system, allowing for swift coordination and deployment of troops. Their armies were well-trained and disciplined, capable of executing complex maneuvers on the battlefield. In contrast, the Aztecs' reliance on individual warrior prowess and decentralized leadership often left them vulnerable to the Tarascans' coordinated attacks. Geography also played a significant role in the Aztec struggles. The Tarascan heartland was surrounded by rugged terrain, including dense forests and mountainous regions, which made it difficult for the Aztecs to launch large-scale invasions. The Tarascans used this to their advantage, employing guerrilla tactics to harass and weaken the Aztec forces. These hit-and-run strategies disrupted supply lines and demoralized the Aztec troops, further complicating their efforts to gain a foothold in Tarascan territory. Despite multiple campaigns, the Aztecs were never able to subdue the Tarascans. This rare defeat served as a stark reminder that even the mighty Aztec Empire had its vulnerabilities. It also highlighted the importance of technological innovation and military organization in shaping the outcomes of ancient conflicts. As we move forward, the story of the Aztec Empire takes us to the Oaxaca region, where the Aztecs faced another formidable challenge in the Battle of Quetzaltepec. This next chapter explores how diplomacy and integration played a crucial role in their efforts to expand and maintain their empire. Shifting our focus to the year 1515, we arrive at the Battle of Quetzaltepec, a pivotal moment in the Aztec Empire's expansion into the Oaxaca region. Unlike the brutal confrontations we've seen in earlier battles, this conflict showcases a different side of Aztec strategy: diplomacy. The Aztecs, known for their military might, also understood the power of alliances and the art of persuasion, and Quetzaltepec became a prime example of how they blended force with negotiation to achieve their goals. The Mixtec city-states in the Oaxaca region were no easy target. They were fiercely independent and had a long history of resisting outside control. The Aztecs, however, approached this challenge with a mix of military pressure and diplomatic finesse. Instead of launching an all-out assault, they first sought to establish alliances with weaker city-states in the region, offering protection and trade opportunities in exchange for loyalty. This strategy not only weakened the stronger Mixtec factions, but also created a network of allies who could support the Aztecs in their campaigns. One of the key figures in this diplomatic effort was the Aztec Emperor Moctezuma II. Known for his political acumen, Moctezuma understood that outright conquest could lead to prolonged resistance. Instead, he focused on integrating conquered peoples into the empire through a combination of incentives and coercion. Local leaders who submitted to Aztec rule were often allowed to retain their positions, provided they pledged allegiance and paid tribute. This approach not only minimized rebellion, but also allowed the Aztecs to tap into the resources and knowledge of the regions they controlled. The Battle of Quetzaltepec itself was less about a single decisive clash and more about a series of strategic maneuvers. The Aztecs used their superior numbers and organization to isolate and overwhelm key Mixtec strongholds. At the same time, they continued to negotiate with local leaders, offering them a place within the empire if they surrendered peacefully. This dual approach of force and diplomacy proved highly effective, as many Mixtec city-states chose to align with the Aztecs rather than face destruction. What makes Quetzaltepec particularly fascinating is how it highlights the Aztecs' ability to adapt their strategies to different challenges. While they were undoubtedly skilled warriors, they also recognized the value of integrating conquered peoples rather than simply subjugating them. This approach not only expanded their empire but also created a more stable and interconnected society, where diverse cultures and traditions coexisted under Aztec rule. As we continue our journey through the Aztec battles, we'll see how this blend of military might and diplomatic skill played a crucial role in shaping the empire's legacy. Next, we'll explore the Tlatelolco Rebellion of 1516, a dramatic uprising that tested the limits of Aztec control and revealed the tensions simmering beneath the surface of their vast empire. Turning our attention to the year 1516, we encounter a dramatic turning point in Aztec history, the Tlatelolco Rebellion. This uprising, led by the Totonac people of the Gulf Coast, marked one of the most significant challenges to Aztec authority in the region. Known for their rich culture and strategic location, the Totonacs had long been a vital part of the Aztec Empire's tribute system. However, growing resentment over heavy taxation and oppressive rule eventually boiled over into open revolt. The Tlatelolco Rebellion was not just a spontaneous act of defiance but a calculated response to years of exploitation. The Aztecs, relying on their tributary system to sustain their empire, demanded increasingly large amounts of goods and labor from the Totonacs. This burden, combined with the harsh enforcement of Aztec rule, created a powder keg of discontent. When the Totonacs finally rose up, they did so with a determination that caught the Aztecs off guard. In response, the Aztecs unleashed a campaign of brutal reprisals designed to crush the rebellion and send a clear message to other subject peoples. Entire villages were destroyed, and leaders of the uprising were executed in public displays of power. The Aztecs believed that such extreme measures would deter future rebellions and reinforce their dominance. However, while the immediate suppression of the Tlatelolco Rebellion succeeded, it also sowed seeds of long-term instability. The rebellion exposed the fragility of the Aztec Empire's control over its vast territories. The Totonacs, though defeated, had demonstrated that resistance was possible, and their defiance inspired other groups to question Aztec authority. This growing unrest would later play a crucial role in the empire's vulnerability when the Spanish arrived just a few years later. Moreover, the Tlatelolco Rebellion highlighted the limitations of the Aztecs' reliance on fear and force to maintain control. While their military might was unmatched, their inability to foster loyalty among their subjects created a weak foundation for long-term stability. The Gulf Coast, once a thriving hub of Aztec influence, became a region marked by tension and mistrust. As we reflect on the Tlatelolco Rebellion, it becomes clear that this event was more than just a military conflict. It was a stark reminder of the challenges of ruling a diverse and far-flung empire. The Aztecs' heavy-handed tactics may have secured short-term victories, but they also planted the seeds of their eventual downfall. Next, we'll delve into the ongoing conflict with the Tlaxcalans, one of the Aztecs' most formidable enemies, and explore how this rivalry shaped the final years of the empire. Shifting our focus to the year 1517, we arrive at one of the most enduring and complex conflicts in Aztec history, the struggle against the Tlaxcalans. Nestled in the highlands of central Mexico, Tlaxcala was a fiercely independent city-state that stood as a thorn in the side of the Aztec Empire for decades. Unlike many other regions that fell under Aztec control, Tlaxcala remained unconquered, becoming a symbol of resistance and a key player in the eventual downfall of the empire. The strategic importance of Tlaxcala cannot be overstated. Situated along crucial trade routes and surrounded by fertile lands, it was a prize the Aztecs desperately sought. Yet, despite numerous campaigns, the Aztecs were never able to fully subdue the Tlaxcalans. This failure was not due to a lack of effort or military might, but rather a combination of factors that made Tlaxcala uniquely resilient. One of the primary reasons for the Aztecs' inability to conquer Tlaxcala was the fierce independence and unity of its people. The Tlaxcalans were organized into a confederation of 4 city-states, each contributing warriors and resources to the common defense. This unity allowed them to withstand repeated Aztec assaults, even when outnumbered. Additionally, the Tlaxcalans were skilled fighters, adept at using the rugged terrain of their homeland to their advantage. They employed guerrilla tactics, ambushing Aztec forces in narrow mountain passes and dense forests, where the Aztecs' superior numbers and traditional battle formations were less effective. Another critical factor was the Aztecs' own military strategy. While they excelled in open field battles and sieges, their reliance on capturing prisoners for sacrifice often hindered their ability to achieve decisive victories. In battles against Tlaxcala, this focus on taking captives rather than outright conquest allowed the Tlaxcalans to regroup and counterattack, prolonging the conflict. The ongoing war with Tlaxcala also had significant political and economic consequences for the Aztecs. The constant state of conflict drained resources and diverted attention from other regions, weakening the empire's overall stability. Moreover, the Tlaxcalans' resistance inspired other groups to challenge Aztec authority, further eroding their control over the region. When the Spanish arrived in 1519, the Tlaxcalans saw an opportunity to finally defeat their longtime enemies. Forming an alliance with Hernán Cortés and his forces, they played a pivotal role in the eventual fall of the Aztec Empire. This alliance, born out of decades of conflict, would prove to be a turning point in the history of Mesoamerica. As we examine the conquest of Tlaxcala, it becomes clear that this was more than just a military struggle. It was a testament to the resilience of the Tlaxcalan people and a reflection of the limitations of Aztec power. The inability to conquer Tlaxcala not only weakened the empire but also set the stage for its eventual collapse. Next, we'll explore the Battle of Zacatepec, the final major conflict before the arrival of the Spanish, and how it highlighted the challenges of maintaining a vast and diverse empire. Turning our attention to the year 1518, we arrive at the Battle of Zacatepec, a significant yet often overlooked conflict that marked the final major engagement before the Spanish arrived in Mesoamerica. This battle, fought against the combined forces of the Mixtec and Zapotec peoples, showcased the Aztecs' military strength while also revealing the growing strains of maintaining their vast and diverse empire. The Aztecs, under the leadership of Moctezuma II, sought to expand their influence further into the southern regions of modern-day Oaxaca. Zacatepec, a strategic stronghold, became the focal point of this campaign. The Mixtec and Zapotec forces, though outnumbered, were determined to defend their lands and resist Aztec domination. What followed was a fierce and hard-fought battle that tested the limits of both sides. One of the key factors in the Aztec success at Zacatepec was their superior military organization. The Aztec army, composed of seasoned warriors and supported by a well-established logistics network, was able to deploy its forces with precision. Their use of coordinated attacks and disciplined formations overwhelmed the Mixtec and Zapotec defenders in the early stages of the battle. Additionally, the Aztec psychological warfare tactics, such as the use of intimidating war cries and the display of captured enemies, further demoralized their opponents. However, the battle also highlighted the challenges the Aztecs faced in maintaining control over their expanding empire. The Mixtec and Zapotec forces, though less organized, were deeply familiar with the rugged terrain of the region. They used this knowledge to their advantage, launching ambushes and retreating into fortified positions that slowed the Aztecs' advance. The prolonged nature of the conflict strained the Aztecs' resources, as supplying their troops over long distances became increasingly difficult. Another critical aspect of the Battle of Zacatepec was the role of local alliances. The Mixtec and Zapotec peoples, though often rivals, united against the common threat posed by the Aztecs. This temporary alliance demonstrated the growing resistance to Aztec expansion and foreshadowed the challenges the empire would face in the years to come. Despite their victory, the Aztecs were unable to fully consolidate their control over the region as pockets of resistance persisted. The Battle of Zacatepec serves as a microcosm of the broader struggles the Aztec Empire faced in its final years. While it showcased their military prowess and ability to project power over vast distances, it also revealed the limitations of their imperial system. The constant need to suppress rebellions and defend distant territories stretched their resources thin, leaving the empire vulnerable to external threats. As we reflect on this pivotal battle, it becomes clear that the Aztecs' success at Zacatepec was both a triumph and a warning. It underscored their dominance in the region but also hinted at the cracks forming within their empire. These cracks would soon be exploited by a new and unexpected force, the Spanish conquistadors. Next, we'll delve into the arrival of the Spanish in 1519, exploring how their presence would irrevocably alter the course of Aztec history. As we move forward in time, the year 1519 marks a turning point that would forever change the fate of the Aztec Empire. This was the year Hernán Cortés and his Spanish forces arrived on the shores of Mesoamerica, setting in motion a series of events that would lead to the empire's dramatic downfall. The Aztecs, under the rule of Moctezuma II, were initially uncertain about how to respond to these strange newcomers. Reports of pale-skinned men with powerful weapons and massive ships reached Tenochtitlan, sparking both curiosity and fear. Moctezuma, deeply influenced by Aztec prophecies, wondered if Cortés might be the god Quetzalcoatl returning to reclaim his throne. This uncertainty shaped the Aztecs' initial approach, which leaned heavily on diplomacy rather than outright confrontation. Cortés, on the other hand, was quick to exploit this hesitation. Recognizing the Aztecs' wealth and the potential for conquest, he employed a mix of cunning and force to advance his agenda. One of his first moves was to establish alliances with local groups who had long resented Aztec dominance, such as the Totonacs and later the Tlaxcalans. These alliances provided Cortés with crucial support, including warriors, supplies, and valuable intelligence about the Aztec Empire. The first direct encounter between Cortés and Aztec representatives took place near the Gulf Coast. Moctezuma sent emissaries bearing lavish gifts, including gold and precious jewels, as a gesture of goodwill. However, these gifts only fueled Cortés' ambition, convincing him of the empire's immense wealth. The Spanish leader responded with a combination of flattery and veiled threats, further confusing the Aztecs about his true intentions. As Cortés and his forces marched inland toward Tenochtitlan, the Aztecs' initial diplomatic efforts began to falter. Moctezuma's indecision and reluctance to confront the Spanish directly allowed Cortés to gain a foothold in the region. The Aztec emperor's attempts to appease the newcomers with gifts and hospitality only emboldened Cortés, who saw these gestures as signs of weakness rather than strength. The arrival of the Spanish also introduced new elements of intrigue and betrayal. Cortés' ability to manipulate local rivalries and exploit divisions within the Aztec Empire played a critical role in his success. For example, his alliance with the Tlaxcalans, who had long resisted Aztec rule, provided him with a powerful ally and a base of operations. Meanwhile, within Tenochtitlan, factions began to question Moctezuma's leadership, further destabilizing the empire. This period of initial contact between the Aztecs and the Spanish was marked by a delicate balance of diplomacy, suspicion, and strategic maneuvering. While the Aztecs sought to understand and negotiate with these mysterious invaders, Cortés was already laying the groundwork for conquest. The stage was set for a clash of civilizations that would reshape the history of the Americas. Next, we'll explore the pivotal Battle of Sempoala, where Cortés solidified his alliance with the Totonacs, and took the first decisive steps toward challenging the Aztec Empire. With a stage set for a dramatic confrontation, the Battle of Sempoala marked a critical turning point in Cortés' campaign against the Aztec Empire. This clash was not just a military engagement but a strategic masterstroke that revealed the growing fractures within the Aztec-dominated region. Sempoala, a city under Aztec control, was home to the Totonac people, who had long chafed under the heavy tribute demands and oppressive rule of the Aztecs. When Cortés arrived, he quickly recognized their discontent as an opportunity. The Totonacs, weary of Aztec dominance, saw the Spanish as potential liberators. This mutual interest laid the foundation for a pivotal alliance. Cortés' first move was to position himself as a protector of the Totonacs. He promised to free them from Aztec rule in exchange for their support. The Totonacs, eager to break free from their overlords, agreed to join forces with the Spanish. This alliance provided Cortés with much-needed manpower, supplies, and local knowledge of the terrain. It also sent a powerful message to other subjugated groups. The Aztec Empire was not invincible. The Battle of Sempoala itself was less a traditional battle and more a demonstration of Cortés' strategic brilliance. He orchestrated a show of force, using the Totonac warriors to intimidate Aztec representatives and assert his authority. The Aztecs, caught off guard by this bold move, were forced to retreat, leaving Sempoala firmly under Cortés' control. This victory had far-reaching implications. It not only solidified Cortés' alliance with the Totonacs, but also exposed the vulnerabilities of the Aztec Empire. The Totonacs' willingness to rebel highlighted the growing discontent among the Aztec subject peoples. For the first time, the empire's grip on its territories began to loosen, as other groups saw an opportunity to challenge Aztec dominance. The Battle of Sempoala also demonstrated Cortés' ability to exploit existing tensions within the region. By aligning with the Totonacs, he turned the Aztecs' own subjects against them, creating a ripple effect that would weaken the empire from within. This strategy of divide and conquer would become a hallmark of Cortés' campaign, paving the way for future victories. As we move forward, the next chapter in this unfolding drama takes us to Colula, where Cortés' cunning and ruthlessness would further destabilize the Aztec Empire. The massacre at Colula would become a stark reminder of the high stakes and brutal tactics that defined this era of conquest. As the story unfolds, we now turn to one of the most chilling episodes in Cortés' campaign, the massacre at Colula. This event, marked by deception and brutality, would leave an indelible scar on the Aztec Empire and further unravel its fragile unity. Colula, a city renowned for its grand temples and spiritual significance, was a key ally of the Aztecs. When Cortés and his forces arrived, they were initially welcomed as guests. However, beneath the surface, tensions simmered. Cortés, ever the strategist, suspected a trap. Reports from his Tlaxcalan allies suggested that the Colulans, under Aztec influence, were planning an ambush. What followed was a calculated and devastating response. Cortés preempted the supposed plot by summoning the city's leaders to the central square under the guise of a peaceful meeting. Once assembled, the Spanish and their Tlaxcalan allies turned on the unsuspecting Colulans. The massacre that ensued was swift and merciless. Thousands were killed and the city was left in ruins. The psychological impact of this event cannot be overstated. For the Aztecs, Colula was not just a city, it was a sacred center, a symbol of their spiritual and political power. Its destruction sent shockwaves through the empire, shaking the confidence of both rulers and subjects. The message was clear: no ally of the Aztecs was safe, and resistance would be met with overwhelming force. This massacre also played a crucial role in destabilizing the Aztec Empire. It deepened the fear and mistrust among the Aztec subject peoples, many of whom began to question the wisdom of remaining loyal. The Tlaxcalans, emboldened by their role in the massacre, solidified their alliance with Cortés, providing him with even greater military support. Cortes' actions at Colula were a masterclass in psychological warfare. By striking at a city of such cultural and religious importance, he not only weakened the Aztecs' hold on their allies but also sowed doubt and fear within the empire itself. This event marked a turning point as the cracks in the Aztec Empire began to widen, setting the stage for the final, dramatic confrontation at Tenochtitlan. As we move forward, the next chapter in this saga will take us to the heart of the Aztec Empire, where the fate of Tenochtitlan and its people would be decided in a battle that would echo through history. As we step into the final act of this dramatic saga, the stage is set for the fall of Tenochtitlan, the heart of the Aztec Empire. The year is 1521, and the once mighty city, a marvel of engineering and culture, now faces its greatest trial. The Spanish, led by Hernán Cortés, have returned with a vengeance, and the Aztecs, weakened by internal strife and external pressures, stand on the brink of collapse. The siege of Tenochtitlan was not just a battle of armies but a clash of worlds. The Spanish brought with them superior weaponry, cannons, crossbows, and steel armor that outmatched the Aztecs' traditional obsidian blades and cotton armor. But perhaps even more devastating was the invisible enemy that had already ravaged the city, smallpox. Introduced by the Spanish, this deadly disease swept through Tenochtitlan, killing thousands and leaving the survivors demoralized and weakened. The Aztecs, who had no immunity to the disease, watched helplessly as their families and warriors fell victim to the epidemic. Internal divisions further crippled the Aztec resistance. The empire, once united under the rule of Moctezuma, was now fractured. Many of the Aztec subject peoples, tired of heavy tribute demands and harsh rule, saw the Spanish as liberators rather than invaders. The Tlaxcalans, longtime enemies of the Aztecs, played a crucial role in the siege, providing Cortés with thousands of warriors and invaluable knowledge of the region. This alliance proved decisive as the Spanish and their allies cut off Tenochtitlan's supply lines and surrounded the city, leaving it isolated and vulnerable. The siege itself was a brutal and drawn-out affair. The Spanish launched relentless attacks, using their ships to control the lake surrounding the city and bombarding its defenses with cannon fire. The Aztecs, led by their new ruler Cuauhtémoc, fought valiantly, but their efforts were hampered by starvation, disease, and the overwhelming firepower of their enemies. Street by street, house by house, the Spanish and their allies pushed deeper into the city, leaving destruction in their wake. The fall of Tenochtitlan marked the end of an era. The city, once a symbol of Aztec power and ingenuity, was reduced to rubble. Its temples were destroyed, its canals filled in, and its people either killed, enslaved, or scattered. For the Aztecs, it was a catastrophic defeat, but for the Spanish, it was the beginning of a new empire in the Americas. This battle was not just a military victory for the Spanish, it was a turning point in history. The fall of Tenochtitlan signaled the end of the Aztec Empire and the beginning of Spanish dominance in the region. It also marked the tragic collision of two worlds, with consequences that would echo for centuries. As we reflect on this pivotal moment, we are reminded of the resilience of the Aztec people, who, despite overwhelming odds, fought to defend their home and way of life. Their story is one of courage, tragedy, and enduring legacy, a testament to the complexities of history and the human spirit. With the fall of Tenochtitlan, the stage is set for the final chapters of this epic tale, where we will explore the aftermath of the conquest and the lasting impact of these events on the world. As we turn the page to a darker chapter in this story, we must confront an invisible force that played a decisive role in the fall of the Aztec Empire: smallpox. This deadly disease, brought to the Americas by the Spanish, became one of the most devastating weapons in the conquest, far more destructive than any sword or cannon. Smallpox arrived in Tenochtitlan in 1520, carried by an infected African slave who accompanied the Spanish forces. The Aztecs, having never encountered the disease before, had no natural immunity, and the results were catastrophic. The virus spread rapidly through the densely populated city, killing indiscriminately. Entire families were wiped out and the streets filled with the dead and dying. The disease struck down warriors, leaders, and civilians alike, leaving the Aztec military severely weakened and their society in chaos. The impact of smallpox went beyond the staggering death toll. It shattered the morale of the Aztec people, who saw the disease as a sign of divine punishment. Their gods, who had once protected them, now seemed powerless against this new and terrifying threat. The loss of so many leaders and warriors also disrupted the Aztec chain of command, making it difficult to organize an effective defense against the Spanish. For the Spanish, smallpox was an unexpected but crucial ally. While they were not immune to the disease, many had been exposed to it in Europe and had developed some resistance. This gave them a significant advantage, as their forces remained relatively intact while the Aztecs struggled to recover. The disease also created a power vacuum, as the death of key leaders left the Aztecs vulnerable to internal divisions and external pressures. The role of smallpox in the fall of the Aztecs cannot be overstated. It was not just a biological disaster, but a psychological and strategic one as well. The disease weakened the Aztecs at every level, from their ability to fight to their will to resist. It was a grim reminder of how vulnerable even the most powerful civilizations can be to forces beyond their control. As we reflect on this tragic chapter, we are reminded of the profound and often devastating consequences of contact between different worlds. Smallpox was not just a disease, it was a harbinger of change, a force that reshaped the course of history. With this understanding, we now turn to the next phase of our journey, where we will explore the enduring legacy of Aztec military strategy and how it continues to influence the world today. As we shift our focus from the devastating impact of smallpox, let's now explore a brighter and more enduring aspect of Aztec history: the legacy of their military strategy. The Aztecs were not just fierce warriors, they were master tacticians whose innovative approaches to warfare left a lasting mark on history. Their strategies were so effective that they continue to be studied and admired even today. One of the most striking elements of Aztec military tactics was their use of psychological warfare. The Aztecs understood that fear could be as powerful as any weapon. Before battles, they would often send emissaries to their enemies, delivering ominous warnings and showcasing their strength. The sight of their elite eagle and jaguar warriors, adorned in fearsome regalia, was enough to intimidate many opponents into submission without a single blow being struck. This psychological edge often gave the Aztecs a significant advantage, allowing them to dominate their rivals both on and off the battlefield. Another key aspect of their strategy was their ability to form and maintain alliances. The Aztecs were skilled diplomats, forging partnerships with neighboring city-states to strengthen their empire. The Triple Alliance, formed with Texcoco and Tlacopan, is a prime example of this. By uniting their forces, these three powers were able to conquer vast territories and establish a dominant presence in Mesoamerica. These alliances were not just about military might, they were also about creating a network of support that could sustain the empire through times of conflict and peace. On the battlefield, the Aztecs were known for their adaptability and innovation. They excelled in using the terrain to their advantage, often luring enemies into ambushes or forcing them to fight in unfavorable conditions. Their warriors were highly trained and disciplined, capable of executing complex maneuvers with precision. The Aztecs also made use of specialized weapons, such as the macuahuitl, a wooden sword embedded with razor-sharp obsidian blades which could inflict devastating wounds. The legacy of Aztec military strategy extends far beyond their own time. Modern military historians and strategists continue to study their tactics, drawing lessons from their use of psychological warfare, alliances, and battlefield innovation. The Aztecs demonstrated that success in warfare is not just about brute strength, but also about intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to outthink your opponent. As we move forward in our exploration, we'll delve into another fascinating aspect of Aztec warfare, the role of religion in shaping their military campaigns. This connection between faith and combat reveals yet another layer of complexity in the Aztec approach to war, showing how deeply intertwined their beliefs were with their strategies on the battlefield. Now, let's turn our attention to a force that was as powerful as any weapon in the Aztec arsenal, their religion. For the Aztecs, warfare was not just a matter of politics or territory, it was deeply intertwined with their spiritual beliefs. Every battle, every strategy, and even the timing of their campaigns were guided by their faith, making religion a cornerstone of their military success. One of the most striking ways religion influenced Aztec warfare was in the selection of battle dates. The Aztecs believed that the gods controlled the fate of their battles, and so they consulted their priests and sacred calendars to determine the most auspicious times to fight. Certain days were considered more favorable for victory, while others were avoided at all costs. This belief in divine timing wasn't just superstition. It shaped their entire approach to war, ensuring that their armies were not only physically prepared but also spiritually aligned for success. Religion also played a central role in the Aztecs' use of human sacrifice as a tool of terror. Capturing enemies alive was a key objective in battle, as these prisoners were often destined for sacrifice to the gods. The Aztecs believed that offering human blood and hearts to their deities, particularly Huitzilopochtli, the god of war and the sun, was essential to maintaining cosmic balance. This practice struck fear into the hearts of their enemies, who knew that defeat could mean not just death but a gruesome end on the sacrificial altar. The psychological impact of this belief system cannot be overstated. It turned the Aztecs into a force that was as feared for their rituals as they were for their military prowess. Moreover, the Aztecs' religious ceremonies often served as a form of psychological warfare. Before major campaigns, they would conduct elaborate rituals, including dances, chants, and offerings to invoke the favor of the gods. These ceremonies were not just for their own warriors, they were also a spectacle meant to intimidate their enemies. The sight of Aztec priests in their ceremonial garb, performing rituals that promised divine support, sent a clear message. The Aztecs were not just fighting with human strength but with the backing of powerful deities. The connection between religion and warfare also extended to the Aztec warriors themselves. Many of their elite fighters, such as the Eagle and Jaguar warriors, were seen as embodiments of divine forces. Their training, discipline, and bravery were not just personal attributes but acts of devotion to the gods. This spiritual dimension gave Aztec warriors a sense of purpose and invincibility, driving them to fight with unparalleled ferocity. As we reflect on the role of religion in Aztec warfare, it becomes clear that their faith was not just a backdrop to their battles, it was a driving force. From the timing of their campaigns to the rituals that inspired their warriors, religion shaped every aspect of their military strategy. This deep connection between the spiritual and the martial is one of the most fascinating aspects of Aztec culture, revealing a civilization where war was not just a matter of conquest but a sacred duty. With this understanding of how faith guided their battles, we now move to another critical element of the Aztec Empire: the importance of their tribute systems. This intricate network of resources and labor was the lifeblood of their empire, sustaining their military campaigns and ensuring their dominance in Mesoamerica. Now, let's shift our focus to a system that was the backbone of the Aztec Empire's power and prosperity: their tribute system. Far more than just a means of collecting resources, this intricate network of payments and labor was the lifeblood of their empire, fueling their military campaigns and solidifying their dominance across Mesoamerica. At its core, the Aztec tribute system was a way to extract wealth and resources from conquered territories. After a city-state or region was subdued, it was required to pay regular tributes to the Aztec capital, Tenochtitlan. These tributes could take many forms: gold, precious stones, textiles, food, and even labor. the Aztecs meticulously recorded these payments in detailed codices, ensuring that every ounce of tribute was accounted for. This system wasn't just about wealth accumulation. It was a tool of control, binding conquered peoples to the empire through economic dependence. The economic implications of the tribute system were profound. By funneling resources from across their vast empire, the Aztecs were able to sustain their growing population and fund their ambitious military campaigns. The wealth collected through tributes allowed them to equip their armies with high-quality weapons, build impressive fortifications, and maintain a network of roads and communication systems that kept their empire connected. Without this steady flow of resources, the Aztec military machine would have struggled to maintain its dominance. But the tribute system wasn't just about economics, it also had significant political implications. By demanding regular payments from conquered territories, the Aztecs reinforced their authority and reminded subject peoples of their place within the empire. Failure to pay tribute could result in harsh reprisals, including military intervention. This created a cycle of dependency and fear, ensuring that conquered regions remained compliant. At the same time, the Aztecs often allowed local rulers to remain in power as long as they fulfilled their tribute obligations. This pragmatic approach helped maintain stability and reduce the need for constant military occupation. One of the most fascinating aspects of the tribute system was its adaptability. The Aztecs tailored their demands to the specific resources and capabilities of each region. For example, coastal areas might be required to provide fish, salt, or exotic feathers, while agricultural regions contributed maize, beans, and other staples. This flexibility allowed the Aztecs to maximize the efficiency of their system, ensuring that every part of their empire contributed in a way that made sense for its local economy. The tribute system also played a key role in the Aztecs' cultural and religious life. Many of the goods collected through tributes were used in elaborate ceremonies and offerings to the gods. Precious materials like gold and jade were crafted into intricate religious artifacts, while food and textiles were used in festivals and rituals. In this way, the tribute system wasn't just a means of sustaining the empire, it was also a way of honoring the gods and maintaining cosmic order. As we reflect on the importance of the Aztec tribute system, it's clear that this network of payments and labor was far more than just an economic tool. It was a cornerstone of their empire, enabling them to fund their military campaigns, maintain political control, and uphold their religious traditions. Without this system, the Aztec Empire, as we know it, might never have reached its heights of power and influence. With this understanding of how the Aztecs sustained their empire through tribute, we now turn to another often overlooked aspect of their society, the role of women in Aztec warfare. While their contributions may not always be front and center in historical accounts, women played a vital part in shaping the Aztec military and its successes. Now, let's uncover a lesser-known but equally fascinating aspect of Aztec society, the role of women in warfare. While the spotlight often falls on the legendary eagle and jaguar warriors, women played a crucial part in shaping the Aztec military machine, contributing in ways that went far beyond the battlefield. In Aztec society, women were not just passive observers of war, they were active participants in its preparation and execution. One of their most significant roles was as strategists and advisors. Women from noble families, in particular, were often educated in diplomacy and statecraft, making them valuable assets in planning military campaigns. Their insights into alliances, resource management, and even battlefield tactics were highly respected, and their influence could sway the decisions of kings and generals. Beyond strategy, women also served as healers and caretakers during wartime. Aztec medicine was advanced for its time, and women were often the ones who treated wounded warriors, using a combination of herbal remedies and spiritual practices. Their knowledge of medicinal plants and healing techniques was essential in ensuring that soldiers could recover quickly and return to the fight. In this way, women were not just supporting the war effort, they were directly contributing to its success. Women also played a vital role in maintaining morale. During times of conflict, they were responsible for organizing rituals and ceremonies to honor the gods and inspire the troops. These events often included music, dance, and offerings, creating a sense of unity and purpose among the warriors. By fostering a strong spiritual connection, women helped ensure that soldiers went into battle with confidence and determination. Another important contribution of women was in the production of essential supplies. From weaving textiles for uniforms to preparing food for the army, women's labor was indispensable in keeping the military machine running smoothly. Their work ensured that soldiers were well equipped and well fed, allowing them to focus on the fight ahead. Perhaps one of the most striking examples of women's involvement in warfare was their role as defenders of the home front. When enemy forces threatened Aztec cities, women often took up arms to protect their communities. Historical accounts describe women fighting alongside men, using whatever weapons were available to defend their homes and families. This bravery and resilience highlight the integral role women played in the survival and success of the Aztec Empire. As we reflect on the contributions of women in Aztec warfare, it's clear that their roles were multifaceted and indispensable. From strategy and healing to morale and defense, women were the unsung heroes who helped shape the Aztec military and its victories. Their legacy reminds us that the strength of an empire lies not just in its warriors, but in the collective efforts of all its people. With this deeper understanding of the vital roles women played, we now turn to another intriguing chapter in Aztec history: the influence of their battles on modern Mexico. How did these ancient conflicts shape the culture and identity of a nation that exists today? Let's explore this next. The echoes of Aztec battles resonate far beyond the ancient world, leaving an indelible mark on modern Mexico. These conflicts, fought centuries ago, have woven themselves into the cultural fabric of the nation, shaping its identity and historical memory in profound ways. One of the most visible legacies of Aztec warfare is found in Mexico's national symbols and traditions. The eagle perched on a cactus devouring a serpent, a scene from Aztec mythology that inspired the founding of Tenochtitlan, now adorns the Mexican flag. This powerful image serves as a reminder of the Aztecs' resilience and their deep connection to the land. Similarly, the Day of the Dead, a holiday that blends indigenous and Catholic traditions, reflects the Aztec reverence for ancestors and warriors, honoring those who fought and sacrificed for their people. The influence of Aztec battles is also evident in Mexico's art and literature. Murals by renowned artists like Diego Rivera often depict scenes of Aztec warriors and their struggles, celebrating their courage and the rich history of indigenous resistance. These works not only preserve the memory of ancient battles, but also inspire a sense of pride and continuity among modern Mexicans. Even the language of modern Mexico carries traces of its Aztec past. Words like chocolate, tomato, and avocado have their roots in Nahuatl, the language of the Aztecs, and serve as everyday reminders of the empire's enduring legacy. The names of cities, rivers, and landmarks across the country often reflect Aztec origins, tying the present to a storied past. Perhaps most importantly, the spirit of Aztec warfare lives on in the collective memory of the Mexican people. The stories of battles fought against overwhelming odds, the sacrifices made for freedom and survival, and the resilience of a people who endured conquest and colonization continue to inspire. These narratives are not just historical footnotes, they are a source of strength and identity, reminding Mexicans of their roots and the enduring power of their heritage. As we look at modern Mexico, it's clear that the legacy of Aztec battles is more than just a chapter in a history book. It's a living, breathing part of the nation's culture, shaping how Mexicans see themselves and their place in the world. From symbols and traditions to art and language, the influence of these ancient conflicts is everywhere, a testament to the enduring impact of the Aztec Empire. With this understanding of how Aztec battles have shaped modern Mexico, we now turn to the archaeological evidence that brings these ancient conflicts to life. What discoveries have shed light on the strategies, weapons, and lives of Aztec warriors? Let's uncover the secrets hidden beneath the soil. Turning our attention to the physical remnants of the past, the archaeological evidence of Aztec battles offers a fascinating glimpse into the strategies and tools that defined their warfare. Excavations across Mexico have unearthed a treasure trove of artifacts, each piece telling a story of the empire's military prowess and the lives of its warriors. One of the most striking discoveries is the array of weapons used by Aztec fighters. Archaeologists have uncovered obsidian-bladed swords known as macuahuitl, designed to deliver devastating blows with razor-sharp edges. Alongside these, they've found atlatls or spear throwers, which allowed warriors to launch projectiles with incredible force and precision. These weapons not only highlight the ingenuity of Aztec craftsmanship, but also reveal the brutal efficiency of their combat techniques. Fortifications and defensive structures have also been brought to light, showcasing the Aztecs' strategic brilliance. Remains of walls, watchtowers, and moats have been discovered in key locations, such as the outskirts of Tenochtitlan. These defenses were designed to protect the empire's heartland and control access to vital resources, demonstrating how the Aztecs used their environment to their advantage. Battlefield sites themselves have provided invaluable insights. In places like Otumba, where the Aztecs clashed with rival forces, archaeologists have uncovered evidence of large-scale engagements. Broken weapons, scattered arrowheads, and human remains paint a vivid picture of the chaos and intensity of these conflicts. These findings help us understand not just how battles were fought, but also the human cost of Aztec warfare. Perhaps one of the most intriguing discoveries is the presence of ritualistic elements on battlefields. Offerings of jade, pottery, and even human remains suggest that warfare was deeply intertwined with religious practices. These artifacts remind us that for the Aztecs, battles were not just about conquest, they were sacred acts, tied to their beliefs and the favor of their gods. As we piece together these archaeological clues, a clearer picture of Aztec warfare emerges. From the weapons they wielded to the fortifications they built, each discovery adds depth to our understanding of their military strategies and the world they inhabited. With this foundation of archaeological evidence, we now move to the myths and legends that surround Aztec warriors. What stories have been passed down through generations, and how do they shape our perception of these ancient fighters? Let's explore the tales that have immortalized their legacy. Now, let's step into the realm of myth and legend, where the stories of Aztec warriors transcend history and enter the world of the extraordinary. Among the most iconic figures in Aztec lore are the Eagle and Jaguar warriors, elite fighters whose exploits have been immortalized in both ancient codices and modern imaginations. These warriors were more than just soldiers, they were symbols of power, courage, and divine favor, embodying the ideals of Aztec society. The Eagle warriors, known as Xuotli, were said to soar above the battlefield like their namesake, striking with precision and ferocity. Clad in feathered armor and adorned with eagle motifs, they were believed to channel the spirit of the sun god, Huitzilopochtli. Their role was not only to fight but to inspire, their presence on the battlefield a reminder of the god's watchful eyes. Equally revered were the Jaguar warriors, or Oslotl, who embodied the stealth and strength of the jungle's apex predator. Dressed in jaguar pelts and armed with their signature obsidian weapons, these warriors were feared for their ability to move silently and strike without warning. In Aztec mythology, the jaguar was associated with the night and the underworld, making these warriors symbols of both earthly power and spiritual connection. But the legends of Aztec warriors go beyond their battlefield prowess. Stories of their training and initiation rituals paint a picture of discipline and devotion. Young warriors were said to undergo grueling tests of endurance and skill, proving their worth not just to their commanders but to the gods themselves. Only those who demonstrated exceptional bravery and loyalty could ascend to the ranks of the eagle and jaguar warriors, earning a place among the empire's most honored defenders. These myths also reveal the deep spiritual significance of warfare in Aztec culture. Battles were not merely fought for land or resources, they were sacred acts, offerings to the gods that ensured the continuation of the world. The eagle and jaguar warriors, with their divine associations, were seen as intermediaries between the mortal realm and the heavens, their victories a testament to the favor of the gods. As we reflect on these legends, it's clear that the stories of Aztec warriors are more than just tales of conquest. They are windows into a culture that revered strength, honor, and the sacred duty of protecting their people. These myths continue to captivate us, reminding us of the enduring power of storytelling to preserve the legacy of the past. With the myths of Aztec warriors fresh in our minds, we now turn to the complex web of alliances and rivalries that shaped their military campaigns. How did these relationships influence the outcomes of their battles, and what lessons can we learn from their strategies? Let's explore the role of allies and enemies in Aztec warfare. The Aztec Empire's military campaigns were not fought in isolation. Behind every victory and defeat lay an intricate network of alliances and rivalries that shaped the course of their history. To truly understand the Aztecs' rise and fall, we must examine the relationships they forged and the enemies they faced on the battlefield. One of the most significant alliances in Aztec warfare was the Triple Alliance, formed between Tenochtitlan, Texcoco, and Tlacopan. This coalition allowed the Aztecs to pool resources, share military strategies, and expand their influence across Mesoamerica. Together, they became a formidable force, capable of overwhelming even the most resistant city-states. However, this alliance was not without its tensions. Power struggles and competing interests often tested the bonds between these allies, revealing the fragile nature of their unity. On the other side of the spectrum were the Tlaxcalans, one of the Aztecs' most persistent and formidable enemies. Despite being surrounded by Aztec-controlled territories, the Tlaxcalans fiercely maintained their independence. Their resistance was not just a matter of pride, it was a survival strategy. The Aztecs, eager to subjugate them, launched repeated campaigns against Tlaxcala, but the Tlaxcalans' knowledge of the terrain and their skilled warriors made them a tough opponent. This ongoing conflict would later prove pivotal when the Spanish arrived, as the Tlaxcalans saw an opportunity to ally with Cortés and strike back at their longtime foes. But the Aztecs' relationships with other city-states were not always straightforward. Some, like the Totonacs, initially paid tribute to the Aztecs but later rebelled, seeking freedom from their oppressive demands. Others, like the Mixtecs and Zapotecs, oscillated between cooperation and resistance, depending on the shifting balance of power. These dynamics reveal a key aspect of Aztec warfare: their ability to adapt their strategies based on the loyalty or hostility of their neighbors. The Aztecs also employed a strategy of divide and conquer, often pitting rival city-states against each other to weaken their enemies. By exploiting existing tensions, they could secure victories without committing large numbers of their own troops. This approach, while effective, also sowed seeds of resentment that would later contribute to their downfall. As we reflect on the role of allies and enemies in Aztec warfare, it becomes clear that their military success was as much about diplomacy as it was about combat. The ability to navigate complex relationships, forge alliances, and exploit rivalries was a cornerstone of their strategy. Yet, these same relationships also held the potential for betrayal and collapse, as seen in the final days of the empire. With this understanding of the alliances and rivalries that shaped Aztec warfare, we now turn to the broader impact of their battles on Mesoamerican history. How did their conquests and conflicts influence the rise and fall of other civilizations in the region? Let's explore the ripple effects of Aztec military campaigns across the ancient world. The impact of Aztec battles on Mesoamerican history cannot be overstated. These conflicts were not isolated events but rather pivotal moments that sent ripples across the region, shaping the destiny of countless civilizations. As the Aztec Empire expanded, its military campaigns redefined power structures, trade routes, and cultural exchanges, leaving an indelible mark on the ancient world. One of the most profound effects of Aztec warfare was the destabilization of neighboring city-states. As the Aztecs conquered territories, they disrupted existing alliances and forced smaller states to either submit or resist. This created a domino effect, weakening some civilizations while empowering others. For example, the fall of Azcapotzalco in 1428 not only elevated the Triple Alliance but also allowed Texcoco to emerge as a major cultural and political center. Similarly, the subjugation of Chalco in 1456 shifted the balance of power in the Valley of Mexico, consolidating Aztec dominance while marginalizing former rivals. The Aztecs' military strategies also influenced the tactics of their enemies. City-states like Tlaxcala and the Tarascans adapted their defenses and forged new alliances to counter the Aztec threat. These adaptations often led to innovations in warfare, such as improved fortifications and more sophisticated battle formations. The Tarascans, in particular, developed advanced metallurgy to create stronger weapons, a direct response to the Aztecs' relentless expansion. Trade and economy were equally transformed by Aztec battles. The empire's demand for tribute goods spurred the growth of specialized industries in conquered regions. Cities like Xoconochco became vital hubs for the exchange of luxury items such as cacao, feathers, and jade. However, this economic integration came at a cost. The heavy tribute demands often strained local economies, leading to resentment and, in some cases, rebellion. The Totonac Uprising in 1516 is a prime example of how economic exploitation could fuel resistance against Aztec rule. Culturally, the Aztecs' conquests facilitated the spread of their religious practices, art, and architecture across Mesoamerica. Temples dedicated to Huitzilopochtli, the Aztec god of war, began to appear in conquered territories, symbolizing the empire's spiritual dominance. At the same time, the Aztecs absorbed elements of the cultures they subjugated, creating a rich tapestry of traditions that defined their civilization. Yet, the Aztecs' influence was not solely destructive. Their battles also paved the way for the rise of new powers. The fall of Tenochtitlan in 1521, for instance, marked the end of the Aztec Empire but also the beginning of Spanish colonial rule. This shift had far-reaching consequences as it introduced European technologies, diseases, and ideologies that would reshape Mesoamerica forever. As we consider the broader impact of Aztec battles, it becomes clear that their legacy is one of both creation and destruction. They reshaped the political landscape, influenced cultural exchanges, and set the stage for the region's future. But their story also serves as a reminder of the fragility of power and the enduring consequences of conquest. With this understanding of how Aztec battles shaped Mesoamerican history, we now turn to the lessons modern strategists can learn from their military campaigns. What timeless principles of warfare and diplomacy can we glean from the rise and fall of the Aztec Empire? Let's explore the enduring wisdom of their strategies. The lessons of Aztec warfare offer a fascinating window into the strategies that shaped one of history's most formidable empires, and they still hold valuable insights for modern strategists today. One of the most striking aspects of Aztec military campaigns was their adaptability. The Aztecs were masters of adjusting their tactics to suit the terrain, the enemy, and the circumstances of each battle. Whether fighting in the dense jungles of the south or the arid highlands of the north, they demonstrated an ability to innovate and overcome challenges. This flexibility is a timeless lesson for modern leaders, reminding us that success often depends on the ability to pivot and adapt in the face of uncertainty. Another key takeaway from Aztec warfare is their exceptional resource management. The Aztecs built an empire that stretched across vast territories, and they did so by efficiently leveraging the resources of their conquered lands. Their tribute system, while controversial, was a masterclass in extracting and redistributing wealth to fuel further expansion. Modern strategists can learn from this approach, understanding that sustainable growth often requires balancing resource acquisition with the needs of those under your control. The Aztecs' ability to maintain a steady flow of goods and manpower was crucial to their military success, and it underscores the importance of logistics in any large-scale endeavor. Perhaps one of the most intriguing aspects of Aztec warfare was their use of psychological tactics. The Flower Wars, for example, were not just about capturing prisoners for sacrifice, they were also a tool for instilling fear and asserting dominance. By engaging in these ritualistic battles, the Aztecs sent a clear message to their enemies: resistance was futile. This psychological edge often demoralized opponents before a single arrow was fired. In today's world, where information and perception play a critical role in conflict, the Aztecs' mastery of psychological warfare offers a compelling lesson. Understanding the power of perception and using it strategically can be just as important as physical strength or technological superiority. The Aztecs also excelled in building and maintaining alliances, a skill that remains vital in modern diplomacy and military strategy. The Triple Alliance formed with Texcoco and Tlacopan was a cornerstone of their empire's success. By forging partnerships with other powerful city-states, the Aztecs were able to pool resources, share intelligence, and present a united front against common enemies. This collaborative approach highlights the importance of alliances in achieving long-term goals, whether on the battlefield or in the boardroom. Finally, the Aztecs' ability to learn from their defeats is a lesson in resilience. Their failed campaigns against the Tarascans, for instance, forced them to rethink their strategies and improve their weaponry. This willingness to adapt and grow in the face of failure is a hallmark of great leadership. Modern strategists can draw inspiration from this, recognizing that setbacks are not the end but an opportunity to refine and strengthen their approach. As we reflect on the lessons of Aztec warfare, it's clear that their strategies were not just products of their time but enduring principles that resonate even today. From adaptability and resource management to psychological tactics and alliance building, the Aztecs offer a wealth of wisdom for anyone seeking to navigate the complexities of leadership and conflict. And as we move forward, let's turn our attention to the cultural legacy of these battles, exploring how they've been immortalized in art, literature, and popular culture. Now, let's step into the vibrant world of art and storytelling, where the echoes of Aztec battles continue to resonate. The cultural legacy of these conflicts is not confined to history books. It lives on in the creative expressions of countless generations. From the intricate codices of the ancient Aztecs to the blockbuster films and video games of today, the battles that shaped their empire have left an indelible mark on our collective imagination. The Aztecs themselves were master storytellers, using art and writing to preserve their history. Their codices, like the Codex Mendoza and the Florentine Codex, are filled with vivid depictions of battles, warriors, and gods. These works weren't just records of events, they were powerful tools for teaching and inspiring future generations. The images of eagle and jaguar warriors, adorned in their fearsome regalia, became symbols of strength and honor, immortalizing the bravery of those who fought for the empire. As time passed, the stories of Aztec battles found new life in literature. Writers and historians, both within and outside of Mexico, have drawn inspiration from these epic conflicts. In the 19th century, the Aztec Empire became a popular subject for novels and poems, often romanticized as a symbol of resistance and resilience. Even today, authors continue to explore the complexities of Aztec warfare, weaving tales of heroism, sacrifice, and the clash of civilizations. In the realm of visual arts, Aztec battles have inspired some of the most striking works of modern times. Murals by renowned Mexican artists like Diego Rivera often depict scenes of Aztec warriors defending their homeland, blending historical accuracy with powerful symbolism. These artworks serve as a reminder of the enduring impact of these conflicts, not just on Mexico's history but on its cultural identity. Perhaps one of the most fascinating ways Aztec battles have been preserved is through popular culture. Films, television shows, and video games have brought these ancient conflicts to life for audiences around the world. From historical dramas that explore the fall of Tenochtitlan to action-packed games that let players step into the sandals of Aztec warriors, these mediums have introduced a new generation to the drama and intensity of Aztec warfare. Titles like Civilization and Age of Empires have even incorporated Aztec strategies and units, allowing players to experience the empire's military genius firsthand. But the cultural legacy of Aztec battles goes beyond entertainment. It's a testament to the enduring power of storytelling. These stories remind us of the human experiences behind the battles, the courage, the fear, the triumphs, and the tragedies. They connect us to a past that, while distant, still shapes our present. As we reflect on this rich cultural tapestry, it's clear that the Aztecs' battles are more than just historical events. They are stories that continue to inspire, educate, and captivate. And as we move forward, let's explore how these battles influenced not just the Aztecs but the broader history of Mesoamerica, shaping the rise and fall of other civilizations in the region. As we bring our journey through the 25 Aztec battles to a close, it's impossible not to marvel at the profound impact these conflicts had on the ancient world. From the founding of Tenochtitlan to the fall of the empire, each battle was a turning point that shaped the destiny of the Aztec civilization. These weren't just clashes of armies, they were moments that defined culture, religion, and power in ways that still resonate today. The Aztecs' military strategies, their alliances, and even their defeats left an indelible mark on history, influencing not only their own empire but the broader tapestry of Mesoamerica. The legacy of these battles is more than just a series of dates and names. It's a story of human ambition, resilience, and the complexities of power. The Aztecs' ability to adapt, innovate, and inspire continues to captivate historians, artists, and storytellers alike. Their battles remind us that history is not just about the past, it's about understanding how the choices and struggles of those who came before us shape the world we live in today. So, what can we learn from the Aztecs and their battles? Perhaps it's the importance of adaptability in the face of challenges, or the power of unity in times of conflict. Maybe it's the reminder that even the mightiest empires are shaped by both their triumphs and their failures. Whatever the lesson, one thing is clear: the Aztec Empire's story is one that continues to inspire and intrigue. If you've enjoyed this exploration of Aztec history, don't stop here. Dive deeper into the fascinating world of the Aztecs, explore their art, their religion, and the incredible cities they built. And if you haven't already, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a journey into the past. What part of Aztec history fascinates you the most? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep exploring, and remember, history is not just about what happened, it's about understanding why it matters.